The transport plane engines cut out, leaving only the sound of the wind screaming across the ice shelf. Courtney, Gwen, Suki, and Suka stepped down onto the permafrost, their boots sinking into the crust. They were miles from any known research station. Then, the horizon flickered. A neon sign buzzed against the white expanse, casting a harsh artificial glow over the snow. It was a police station, standing alone in the middle of the frozen wasteland. Suki squinted at the structure, her breath hitching in the frigid air. She pointed a finger at the glowing blue lettering. "How do you even have a police force out here?" she asked. The wind swallowed her voice. Sina stood at the entrance, her posture rigid. She did not look back. She did not explain. She simply adjusted her badge, the metal clicking against the silence. Her lack of response was heavier than the wind. She turned and gestured toward a nearby warehouse, her eyes fixed on a singular objective. Sina waited, projecting a professional gravity. They reached a Tesla parked in the lee of the warehouse. Sina pulled a lever under the dashboard, her movements practiced and sharp. A low hum vibrated through the floorboards as she modified the cooling system to withstand the sub-zero temperatures. The team piled in, the cabin sealing out the howling wind. As the tires gripped the ice, Sina unfolded a map across the dashboard. The blue light from the screen illuminated the interior. She traced a line toward a distant set of coordinates. "We hit the north entrance," she said, her voice cutting through the engine drone. She looked at each team member in turn. "Suki and Suka, you cut the power at the main junction. Courtney, you secure the exits. No one leaves." Gwen leaned forward, watching the terrain blur past the glass. The vehicle accelerated, tearing across the frozen expanse toward the target. Sina kept her eyes on the road, her hands steady on the wheel, as the facility appeared as a jagged silhouette against the horizon. The Tesla slid to a halt, its tires biting deep into the permafrost. The engine cut out, and the silence of the Antarctic rushed back in, absolute and heavy. Sina stepped out first, her boots crunching rhythmically against the frozen ground. The facility loomed ahead, a low-slung steel structure half buried in a drift of snow. It looked like a tomb, yet there was no mistaking the faint, rhythmic vibration humming through the soles of their boots. The team moved in a tight formation, eyes scanning the perimeter. As they neared the north entrance, the air shifted. A thick, cloying sweetness cut through the biting wind. It was the smell of burning sugar and heavy oil, a jarring, artificial stench in the middle of the pristine ice. Suki paused, her hand hovering near her side. She looked at Sina, who signaled for them to close the distance. They reached the steel door, the metal cold and slick with frost. Sina pressed her palm against the surface, feeling for a tremor or a lock mechanism. The smell grew stronger, suffocating now, clinging to the back of their throats. It was a warning. Sina drew a breath, signaled the team to fan out, and braced her shoulder against the door. Every muscle in her body tensed. She kicked the door open, the steel groaning as it swung inward, revealing the chaos hidden within. Sina kicked the door open, the steel frame shuddering against the wall. Inside, the air was thick with smoke, the scent of scorched sugar and oil stinging their eyes. In the center of the room, the chef stood over a console, his fingers dancing across the keys. He spotted them, flashed a wide grin, and slammed his palm onto a red button. The floor bucked. A hidden charge beneath a stack of crates detonated, sending jagged debris and metal shards tearing through the air. The team dived for cover as the shockwave rattled their teeth. Through the settling dust, they saw the chef bolting toward the hangar. He sprinted, his boots sliding on the slick floor, and scrambled into the cockpit of a waiting jet. Engines roared to life with a high-pitched whine. Sina signaled the team, and they sprinted toward the massive jet carrier parked on the ice. They vaulted into the cockpit, slamming the canopy shut. The carrier lifted off, tires leaving the ice, and surged into the clouds. The jet was a dark speck ahead, banking hard. Sina locked the targeting system, her hands steady on the controls. She fired the harpoon launcher. A steel cable hissed through the air, piercing the jet's fuselage. The massive bay doors hissed shut. locking the jet and its pilot inside the carrier. The roar of the engines died down to a low, rhythmic thrum, leaving the hangar in a sudden, heavy silence. Steam curled from the cooling vents, dissipating into the cold air. The chef stumbled out of the cockpit, his movements sluggish and defeated. He stood on the metal grating, hands raised high above his head, his chest heaving with every breath. Courtney and Gwen moved forward, their boots ringing sharply against the steel floor. They closed the distance in seconds, reaching the chef before he could take another step. The tension that had defined the chase finally snapped, replaced by the cold, biting reality of the Antarctic wind outside. They secured his wrists, the metallic click of the restraints echoing through the hangar. Sina watched from the cockpit, her grip on the controls finally loosening. The illegal factory was silent, the threat neutralized, and the vast frozen horizon remained undisturbed. The mission was complete,